Okay, now we'll go over mounting the bracket to the wheelchair. I had taken the seat off of this wheelchair to make it a little easier, but it will depend on your wheelchair and your user where you mount them. Some mount them down here on this bar, some have mounted them on their laterals or hip laterals, then some have mounted them up on this bar, but today where I prefer to mount them is right here. But I will go through a couple things. So this first mounting bracket that you get, this one here. Now this one, I see people usually mount here or on the sidebar or down here. This is getting to be pretty low. You can go upside down. These brackets can be mounted either which way as long as the grooves and holes are facing outward. Now to mount this bracket, we're just going to go through it quickly, is you find the right bolt out of the package. You don't need to use all the bolts, but the right bolt and length for this bar. Now this is typically a 1-inch bar, so you'll have these different adapters. I don't know the official name on them in the package, and they all have a size. You pick the size to the bar that you have. So then what you do is you take a washer, put it on your bolt, put your bolt through here, and then this piece here goes with the beveled side, goes like this, but on the back side. Your nut on the back side will sit in this like so. So this would go through here, then this would go on the back side, and you'd bolt it down. That is one bracket. The other bracket is this one. This one's for easy mounting and removal, and again, make sure the holes and the grooves face outwards. You do not want to mount it like this. You want to mount it like this. With this one, you would loosen up all 4 bolts here, and then you slide it on to wherever you want to mount it best. You can go here, you know, again on these bars, however you'd like to mount it, and then you tighten them down. But remember, the grooves on the outside. The one that we'll be using today, and I'll go through the mounting process, is this one. This one I find to be better for long term. I use this one and I just leave it on the wheelchair. I don't take this on and off after every use. So with this one, just take the bolts out, and again, find where you want to mount it, and then you put the groove and hole side out. So this one, this part goes on the back side. There's no up or down, but this part goes on the back side of the bar, and then this part on the front side because of the holes and grooves. So I get it kind of snug right away because this top bolt's kind of hard to get to. And then we go to the bottom bolt. And you want to get them as snug as you can. Because you don't want, when you put the switch header on, you don't want it to slide. Now that you got this mounted, and this is the part that I always leave on, I'll put the seat back on. And it'll look like this. Now what we need is the part that looks like this for mounting the pipe to the bracket. This here, this bolt does not come out, and this bolt is what mounts the bar to the wheelchair. Let's go ahead and just screw that on loosely. Then what we'll do is we'll take the pipe. Now this pipe has a short end and a long end. For when you're going to bat, you use the long end at the bottom, the short end at the top. And then what you do is you slide it through here. And I leave, you know, just enough to put another bracket on there. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. Make sure this is facing up straight or just a little ways out away from the wheelchair. And then tighten this down. And we can readjust this later. So far, the whole mounting process has taken just this one Allen wrench. This one Allen wrench is the one you're going to mainly need. There is one more Allen wrench that does not come with your kit, but you'll need it for the switch hitter, and I'll show you that here shortly. Now, mounted onto your switch hitter are these two brackets. They come already mounted. These brackets do not have to come off. They can stay on the switch hitter the whole time for easy installation and for helping not getting them lost. Those two brackets look like these ones right here. Now these are the ones that are going to get mounted to the bar on this side of the bar, and like I stated earlier, the only Allen wrench that is not provided is the one for this bolt right here. So you'll have to get your own. But other than that, all parts are included. Again, you just loosen this up to where this will slide on. And then you tighten this bolt up. Now you can do this multiple ways. You can do it like we just did and put the bracket, the bar, then the switch hitter on. Some people put this bracket on the bar and then put the switch hitter on the bar and then just put this piece all onto the wheelchair at one time, since it's just one bolt. That is all up to you and how you want to do it. This is just one way. I personally, when I have these set up for games or events, I just take this bolt out. I leave everything attached the way it is and store it that way. Then when I need it again, I just bring it out, one bolt, and it's already on the wheelchair. And again, I leave these brackets on the wheelchair. These brackets are also the same that is used for the Tobii Dynavox communication systems. So if a user has a Tobii Dynavox and has one of these mounts on their wheelchair, it is compatible with them, so you can use that instead of these as well. Okay, the next thing we need is your order came with 4 bolts. Usually they'll be loosely, or I try to put them in with attached to the whack arm. You'll need those bolts. You'll have these 2 pieces. These are the bat mounting brackets. They got to be on them. One for, they're the bat brackets, but also it's the bottom. Then you want to take your bat, on this, the B's on the bottom and to the front of the wheelchair. So you got a thick side and you got a thin side. This thin side will go towards the back of the bat, where the thicker side goes on the handle. Now these brackets are made to fit most bats. They're made to fit better with bats that have the grips on them. So when you put a wooden bat or sometimes plastic bats, since they don't have that grip, they're a little bit more loose. If they're too loose, what I do is I take like a paper towel or a small cloth and put it in there just to help get more of a snug fit. Now with these, I just start with one hole. What I do, and you can do too, is I went and just bought a little screwdriver and then found the right Allen wrench head, so then it's quicker installation. I just do crossways to get it started, just get them snug but not tight, then get the other 2 started. Okay, then I make sure the bat is positioned the way I want, and then I snug them down. You don't have to go real tight, but just go snug. So now, as you can see, the bat here is hitting down at the bottom. What we're going to do now is adjust the switch hitter so it's mounted right. So we have it mounted to the wheelchair. Now we just need to make some final adjustments. So what we want to do is you take and loosen up the switch hitter, and you want the bat to sit in about the middle of this bar. Okay, so we'll loosen up the switch hitter and we'll raise it up to about roughly the middle. Now what we'll do is we'll loosen this bolt up and we'll drop it down to where the bat is horizontal as possible, and then the switch hitter itself is facing straight out or as level as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just as close as you can get it, and then we'll tighten this back down. the way we do this is this bar then acts as a stop for when the switch hitter is activated. So that is the mounting process of the switch hitter. Now I'll show you how I take it off. You can reverse all the steps to take it off as well, but how I take it off and normally store it is just by removing this one bolt. So I loosen this bolt up, slide it back to give me some more room, and this bolt doesn't come out, so don't have to worry about losing it. This is how I store it, just like this. And then when it's time to put back on, you just put it on and make sure it's level and you're good to go. That quick. The initial setup is the longest part. Now, in the next video, I'll go through how to use your switch hitter, some do's and don'ts, and some troubleshooting issues.